Testing, testing, testing. One, two, three. Testing, testing, testing. All right, my microphone is good. Okay. Welcome everyone to Money Making Friday. Today is Friday, June 15th. Today we have a great show today. Talk about a few things today that I believe that will be great. Everything from crypto to stock market. Just getting a little organized here. Excuse me. All right, just bringing up the things, the topics we were talking about. How you doing, Dollar Will? Yeah, I sent the emails out. Sent it out maybe 3 minutes ago. So it should be in your mailbox. Opening up a few things here. Uno momento. All right. What's going on, Snob? How y'all doing? Snobbish culture here. What you eating, Dollar Will? Eating the ramens? Eating them ramens, huh? I know. Eat some ramen noodles with some sriracha. I know, man. You ain't got to say so. I know. All right. So today the beginning of our show is gonna talk about some few topics dealing with crypto. Uh, hold on there, buddy. All right, all right. Okay, we got another host in. How you doing, Mike?
Hey, what's going on, brother?
I'm all right. I'm all right. You got a new photo, huh?
I always have a photo. I got Instagram, so
Oh, okay, 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 okay. All right. So, brown rice and turkey loaf. Okay, what I'm talking about. All right, so we may as well get started here. Got my everything set up. Let me do my excuse me. Let me do my screen share. There we go. All right. The first topic of tonight comes from ccn.com. This is from today. White Africa is fertile ground for Bitcoin adoption. Article reads, despite fears and skepticism over usage of virtual currencies for crime, tax evasion, and money laundering, more African countries and individual investors are increasingly embracing cryptocurrencies to escape challenges to do with fiat money and to mop up extra value from informal markets that dominate the content, according to a newly published local report. Global Risk Insights has now said there are numerous opportunities for African countries to embrace cryptocurrencies. This comes as more states in Africa come to accept cryptocurrency and a technology first approach to digitizing diversifying their markets. This approach could enable African states to spearhead innovations such as blockchains for easier access to public services and digital currencies issued by central banks, said Global Risk Insights. The blockchain technology that Bitcoin is built around has already been trialed in South Africa for use in financial transactions, with the country's central bank saying the technology can help reduce the amount taken to complete transactions. In Kenya, reported Bloomberg on Thursday, blockchain technology has already been deployed to enable credit scoring of small businesses, therefore allowing them access to microloans through their mobile phones under a partnership between startup company Twiga Foods and IBM. The interest in blockchain and cryptocurrencies in Africa is spreading out across markets, running from Zimbabwe to Kenya and into West Africa. According to the Global Risk Insights report, the most important factors that have influenced the development of Africa's cryptocurrency market is its large informal sector. The International Labor Organization estimates that more than 66% of all unemployment in sub Saharan Africa is in the informal sector. The high rates of unemployment in some African countries could also be pushing innovators to the edge to create blockchain and cryptocurrency solutions and platforms. So, okay, Bitcoin ATMs are already in reality in three African countries, including Zimbabwe and South Africa. However, Zimbabwe has banned banks from processing cryptocurrency transactions, while central bank says it's running a Bitcoin cash machine. Crypto exchange platforms are offering banking services illegally. The report continued. Other factors that have influenced the development of African cryptocurrency market include the establishment of regulatory sandboxes in regions such as Sierra Leone to promote fintech innovation, interests from blockchain companies looking to harness the potential of African markets, and African policymakers and regulators grappling with the risks associated with cryptocurrency. Young entrepreneurs in Kenya are deeply involved in crypto mining as they settle for alternative crowdsourcing methods to raise funds for their startups, while in Nigeria, Bitcoin sales have been soaring. The West African nation recorded an average of 4.7 million in Bitcoin sales per week in January of this year. Cryptocurrency can also be used for remittances in African countries facing currency and forex challenges. Experts say African countries facing microeconomic problems, such as volatile money markets, may find investment in digital payment currency platforms that could be useful for counteracting the negative economic effects that impact ordinary citizens. Digital currency exchanges are mushrooming across the continent, with platforms in Zimbabwe, Ghana, and other markets seeing growing interest in trade in cryptocurrencies ranging from Bitcoin, Ethereum, to the other 1,500 or more altcoins available. However, regulatory issues have been holding back rapid growth and further development of blockchain and cryptocurrencies on the back of concerns around fraud, crime, and money laundering. Considering the potential for large scale cryptocurrency use in Africa, policymakers in regions across the continent have some legitimate concerns. Among these is the risk of crypto asset crime, including tax evasion, money laundering, and terrorist financing through cryptocurrency of its trading or if its trading is unregulated, as the report. All right, cryptocurrency and blockchain can be fertile in Africa. What do you think it is, Mike?
well, we knew this was going to happen, and it makes sense, right? Because uh, African countries are just now getting out of colonialism, right? So coming out of the 70s and 80s, as well as the collapse of the Soviet Union, made it difficult for most African countries to find stability in most global markets. So they've been weighed down by European capitalism, as well as sanctions by the West, and poor growth due to poor infrastructure to to begin with, coming out of colonialism, as well as the collapse of the Soviet Union, because that created a big shift from the support from non-Western governments. So the article is right in saying that it's fertile ground for adoption, because they don't really need the dollar anymore. I believe VGS posted a video about de-dollarization, and that's the phase that Africa is coming into, de-dollarization, as well as an emergence of digital currencies and cryptocurrencies, as well as the blockchain infrastructure being able to get around tariffs that typically they would have been weighed down with before.
Now, I agree with the article. What the article is saying, the cryptocurrency, excuse me, itself is a way to get around fiat currency, especially the dollar, since the dollar is a world currency, and cryptocurrency is a way to get around tariffs, just like Venezuela's doing with their cryptocurrency, with their oil-backed cryptocurrency. And I do agree that with Africa, you hear a lot of, not a lot, I'm not going to say a lot, a couple of nations with hyperinflation, such as Zimbabwe. Since the hyperinflation has been going on in Zimbabwe, you've been hearing a lot of stories coming out of Zimbabwe talking about how its citizens been turning to mining cryptocurrency and conducting transactions into cryptocurrency. With cryptocurrency, I mean, I remember when Bitcoin did its great bull run in the last quarter of 2017. I saw stories concerning Bitcoin mining in Zimbabwe, or not Bitcoin mining, but the transaction in Zimbabwe, how there was a premium to Bitcoin. So, we were paying, let's say, 10,000 per Bitcoin. They were paying 12,000 per Bitcoin, but the premiums isn't going to be there unless it was a market. So there was a market there. Now, my only question for you is this: I understand blockchain technology and surface understanding, working understanding. Some of the things this article pointed out that blockchain technology can be used for is, I'm trying to find them as I speak. It's not necessarily has to do with currency, cryptocurrency. How can't find some of the sectors of mentioned, but how can blockchain technology be used for other things, not cryptocurrency?
You can use it in a variety of aspects outside of cryptocurrency. So identity access management. So Africa has a problem with knowing who's on the continent and how many people they have and things of that nature, which is a part of how you determine how many resources need to be redistributed throughout your country. So if you don't know who's in your country and how many people are actually there, then you can't fully map out your resources correctly. So some areas of a country may get few resources than the other portions of the country. But if you had a blockchain set up in terms of identity access management and for your citizens, then what that would do, it would actually help you narrow down each and every citizen where they are throughout the country, as well as what their age is, what their range is, what their health is, all types of data analytics. And it's going to be authenticated through the blockchain, because that's what the blockchain actually does, is authentication, as well as availability and scalability.
Okay. Now I'm understanding more. Okay. excuse, because I was going to ask about. I found it. It said that the blockchain, I like it here, blockchain technology has already been deployed to enable credit scoring of small businesses, and I'm thinking that's possible. That's possible based on that businesses past transactions, if it was good, bad, or or anything else, and based on its past transactions, then you can always have an up to date score of if that business is credible or not. That's how I'm thinking.
Right. They're just basically trying to create their own Equifax, Experian type of credit rating, and things like Experian and Equifax that holds true to the individual, but you can also leverage it for businesses as well. In the United States, we call it the Better Business Bureau. That's how you get your rating, which is not entirely accurate because anybody can call in and basically say, well, Lionel's business served me some bad food and I had the bubble guts or something like that. And that's, your credit score, your business or credit score done went down because somebody posted a bad review.
Okay. Gotcha. Understand it much now. Now, other than what we just talked about, make sure someone else is on here. Other than what we just mentioned about this topic, what other thoughts you have about it?
Well, I think it also calls to accord what Black people in America are doing as well. Because if Africa is looking at cryptocurrencies and more the common name of Bitcoin, what are we doing, and how are we going to take advantage of these opportunities that come from the fertilization of cryptocurrencies on the continent? My take is that you have close to 50 million Black people within the United States and surrounding territories, including the U.S. Virgin Islands and Canada and as well as Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Well, Jamaica is not an actual U.S. state, right? So it's an independent island, but Puerto Rico is actual Commonwealth, right? So you have all these Black people, at least 50 million of them, at least according to the statistics. What would happen if you took $5 or $10 from each and every Black person available and just put it in some form of marketplace, to give you leverage to actually invest into a cryptocurrency for yourself as a collective? And what if we put that cryptocurrency in investment into Africa where it's fertile? These are the mechanisms that should be in place coming from the American side, because the dollar still has weight to it.
Okay. That's pretty insightful. That's I would have thought about that one. Because we do have at least economic power here because of where we live at, and like I said, we can use that to rest there. Excuse me.
Well, we should be the ones driving the market and not so much Africans themselves, right? Because they still haven't figured out how to utilize the system, whereas the system was actually born here. So why aren't we actually the drivers behind the system itself?
Got it. Well, I would say it has to be excuse me, a want to learn that type of technology. Just like me, I want to, so I asked, took the initiative, but not too many of us want. Not too many of us even know it. B, when we hear it, our eyes glaze over. C, not too many of us, if we get to see, want to learn this stuff. So it's a uphill battle with ice skates on, as they say. But you do got to get it out there. You can't just sit back and say, well, no, there's no excuse me, there's no want to do this, so it doesn't it doesn't matter. No, you still got to try. You still got to, like we doing, talking about it, and whoever listened to it, they may look it up and say, "Wow, okay, yes, this is something I want to get into," but still got to get it out there to us.
Right.
All right. Excuse me. Next topic comes from CCN again. Italian court seizes crypto exchange BitGrail's Bitcoin wallets. Okay, I want to see why. The Italian court has, the Italian court has seized Bitcoin wallets belonging to shuttered cryptocurrency exchange BitGrail as part of the company's bankruptcy proceedings. Okay. BitGrail disclosed that its assets has been seized in a statement dated June 15, explaining that it had turned over the Bitcoin wallets on June 5 in response to an order from the Tribunal of Florence. From the statement, on June 5, 2018, pursuant to the Tribunal of Florence orders, the Bitcoins contained in the company's wallets were seized and brought under control of the judicial authorities pending the court decisions in the pre-bankruptcy proceedings. I'm going to have a question about that. As CCN reported, BitGrail has effectively been shut down since February when founder Francisco the Bomber V. Ferrano revealed that nearly all of the platform's Nano or XRB reserves, approximately 17 million XRB, then worth 170 million, had gone missing, forcing the exchange into insolvency. Question mark. I got a question mark about that one. There was much controversy over who was responsible for the missing XRB. Nano's developers argued that a bug in the exchange's software had led to the loss or theft of the funds and accused Ferrano of concealing BitGrail's insolvency for an extended period of time. To date, all reliable evidence we have reviewed continues to point to a bug in BitGrail's exchange software as the reason for the loss of funds, the Nano Foundation wrote in an April update. Ferrano, meanwhile, blamed the development team, alleging that the fault lay in the Nano protocol, not his platform software. BitGrail had attempted to reopen its exchange in early May, but was forced to shut down just 3 hours later after Laura acting on behalf of a BitGrail customer successfully petitioned court to bar the company from resuming its operations. BitGrail is currently moving through preliminary bankruptcy proceedings as creditors seek to recover a portion of the assets that they lost when the funds went missing. Ferrano has criticized creditors for forcing the platform into bankruptcy court rather than letting the exchange reopen and attempt to earn back the funds to fully compensate traders. All right. I have two question marks pertaining to two of these two paragraphs. The first one is all the Bitcoin was confiscated by the authorities. I wonder, and this is just a skepticism, man, if those Bitcoins, if the Italian government is just going to hold those Bitcoins for themselves, just going to put them in their coffers. That's what I wonder.
I'm wondering the same thing. I mean, I know it's the Italian government and European Union states are actually hurting for financial gains, but this doesn't seem to be the right way to go about it. So, because now what this will probably do is reverberate throughout the at least throughout the European Union, is that if you think about getting into cryptocurrencies, then this is a possibility of something that can happen to you, when in reality it shouldn't happen. And especially somebody says that there's a bug in the code or in the software itself. Who's doing the the code analysis? Who's doing the debugging on this stuff? I just don't I just think that there's more to the story than what's being told.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I agree with that one. And my thing is, like I said, this is the skepticism in me. But Bitcoin, you have all the speculation. And I'm sure someone told them, hey, this Bitcoin is going to be worth millions in the future. One Bitcoin is speculated to be worth $1 million within the next decade. And they didn't say how many Bitcoins. They just said they're Bitcoins, and then the title it said wallets. So I'm pretty sure there's thousands of Bitcoin. This was an exchange. I'm pretty sure there are thousands of Bitcoins. So in the if Bitcoin just right here on the side, billionaire investor explains, my Bitcoin price will hit 250,022. If Bitcoin even goes up to that level, and the Thai government continues to, hold these Bitcoins, they can have a nice little, bread basket. But
Yeah, there has to be better security mechanisms in place for things like Bitcoin, because if somebody runs off my wallet or even attempts to tamper with my wallet, those coins should self-destruct, in my opinion. Because if I can't have them, you can't have them either.
But isn't there a way when people have their wallets on their computer, people always say, hey, encrypt your wallet, encrypt your wallet. So, and you have the private key. So even if they have them, you know what, I think even, okay, if the entire government have their wallets, I think they are going to have the private keys and passcode to the wallets. But to what you were saying, if you have, okay, as I'm saying this, I'm thinking in my head, okay, if someone has your encryption keys, your not encryption keys, but your private keys and your passcode, then they got the funds in your wallet. But I understand what you're saying. I do agree with you saying. If you can't just have my money just because you got my information.
Right. It needs to be there needs to be other mechanisms in place in order to prevent a person from walking off with it. Just like if somebody took your credit card out your wallet, and you said, you were pickpocketed, then what would happen is you would call your credit card agency and tell them that you've been you've been compromised, and or your identity has been compromised. And they'll just shut the credit card off immediately. Well, what happens to your cryptocurrencies? Somebody just walks off with it, and then that's it. You can't really report it to anybody, so to speak, because it's decentralized. So there's no FBI or anybody like that you can report it to and say that, hey, MasterCard, Visa, somebody stole my my currency or my tokens or whatever it is, and they're gonna go out and track them down. That's not gonna happen in the crypto world because things are decentralized. So if somebody is going to walk off with this, there has to be a self-destruct mechanism. I'm willing to lose, 100,000 in cryptos if I can't have them.
Now, let me throw these two questions out at you. Do you think these developers that are on these cryptocurrency teams, such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, they'll have a help desk in the future, and someone say, hey, someone stole my Bitcoin, can you track it down? And they will be able to track it down.
But what's the fee going to be? Isn't, because nothing is free, right? I mean, if you, right, because then what happens is, it becomes lucrative for you to lose your access to your wallet or just the cryptocurrencies itself, because now the holding agency or the whoever controls that marketplace, what would happen is they'll charge you a certain amount of Bitcoins or whatever the cryptocurrency flavor of the week would be, and say, hey, well, you need, if you want this forensics analysis to be done and this investigation to take place, then you're gonna have to pay me certain amount of Bitcoin or Ethereum, and then we'll start the process, and then that can be very risky.
Yeah.
Because then what happens? Then what happens if they can never really get it? You paid and you lost money at the same time.
I would say, that their payment is I would say their payment would be contingent on them recovering the money. But then, like you said, it does become lucrative because you can't have just 0.001 of a Bitcoin and say, hey, somebody stole my Bitcoin, can't recover it. At that point, you know, like $10, you is it worth it? It's chalked up as a loss. But if you got 200 or 2,000, 100,000 Bitcoin, and you say, hey, somebody stole my Bitcoin, can't track it down, and you sign a contract and you say, okay, if you recover my Bitcoin, you or whoever's on an investigation get X amount of Bitcoins. Then I would say, yeah. How you doing, Mighty Ghost?
Chilling.
Let me ask you this, Mike. On that same
note, you got a lot of static.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this, Mike, on that same note. If you have 100, hello?
Hey, what's happening? What's happening, fellas?
What's going on,
Dollar? What's going on, Dollar?
Don't mean to mess up your flow.
Oh no, it's all right. So I just cordial hellos. Now let me ask you this, Mike. Say, because right now it's guessed that of the 21 million Bitcoin that will ever be in existence, like 2 million has already been lost. So we're down to 19 million. We'll be 19 million once the last Bitcoin is mined. So someone has a wallet with let's say 100 people has a wallet with 50 Bitcoin in it. Ain't human error, careless living, talking, let people know how much Bitcoin you have, whatever. And you either lose it or it gets stolen. And you're willing to say, hey, if I can't have it, you can't have it either. And it's destroyed. Wouldn't that increase the price of Bitcoin? Because people are taking this route, saying, yeah, just go ahead and destroy
it. Yeah, so it's going to invite a lot of malicious actors. But for the time being, that's the only mechanism that you have in place, because the crypto marketplace doesn't have an FDIC, which is something that needs to be put in place, because if you're going to be moving this many tokens and cryptocurrencies at such a large rate, so much volume, there has to be some kind of insurance mechanism in place.
Yeah, I agree. It can't stay Wild Wild West forever.
Yeah, that doesn't work. That's cool when you're talking about 2 or 3 people in the market, but when you're talking about bringing on multiple continents on board, and you're talking about bringing on Africa, you're talking about bringing on Latin America, you're talking 3 billion people.
Yeah, right. And you can't just have this or that. Nah, it has to be structured, and governments are going to push for structure. Governments are going to say, okay, if we are in this building, not building, I say building. If we're in this business and we see that cryptocurrencies can be the world currency, undoubtedly there's going to be some type of regulation that's going to be involved. Undoubtedly, it would be naive of a person to think, it should be regulation. It can be decentralized, yeah, but it's still regulations. And I believe because of this, if Bitcoin is still, because Bitcoin is not going to go, it's not going to go away. Bitcoin is what brought everybody to the party. So Bitcoin is not. I believe it's not going to. Who phone is that?
Is that somebody vaping?
Yeah, something. I don't know. I think that's Ulysses.
Well, I think I think to your point about there needs to be some kind of regulation. EOS as a cryptocurrency actually has its own constitution. I don't know if you read about that.
No, I just been hearing about the main that I haven't read about the Constitution.
Yeah, they have a constitution in place, so that's a start in the right direction.
Yes, and a lot of people have been saying EOS is a Ethereum killer. But okay, what I was going to say, that's one thing I believe that Bitcoin in the future. I'm talking about, generations from now. This price is going to be this price per Bitcoin is going to be this price for Bitcoin. Not that much, but it could be up there. But EOS, go ahead.
No, go finish what you're about to say about EOS.
But EOS right now is they saying, it's a lot of people saying EOS is Ethereum killer, and EOS is just $10.68 right now.
It was actually down to like $8 the other day. I think it was like 2 days ago. So EOS probably is the next evolution in terms of Ethereum because of how it has decentralized application, for making transactions as well as doing non-currency transactions, as well as a constitution and just the way how it's structured for smart contracts just makes it that much more efficient than Ethereum in itself. So Ethereum is like 1.0 and EOS will be like 2.0 in terms of the blockchain.
And what I think is so amazing, what is amazing, we continue to do this, and in the future, months from now, we look at this video and say, man, EOS was $10. I should have got it then, because you always hear people say, well, what's a good time to buy? What's a good time to buy? Look at this. Oh, that's Tether. Well, no, what's a good time to buy? What's a good time to buy? And you look in the past, and you always kick yourself in the butt and say, man, I should have bought then.
Well, if you were, doing your technical charts, like you're a good technical charter would, and that's where you have Dollar Will.
Dollar Will?
Go for it. I mean, yeah, finish your thought, man. I'm happy to hear the the integration of the fundamentals and the technical. Go for it, man.
Hey, Dollar Will, one question. This right here, this up and down zigzag right here.
That's crazy, man. That's some hard stuff to trade. And what is that representing? 1 day or a year? What is that?
7 days. This is Tether. It's always going to be $1. It's tied to the U.S. dollar, so it's always going to be $1.
And so you're saying that's representing 7 days?
Yeah, this graph, price of 7 days, yes.
Yeah, see, that's like day trader hell right there. That's why I'm not a day trader, because I'm not good enough to get all of that, man. I'm working toward it, okay? So I just take the bird's eye view, and I can see that channel going sideways where it's not really going up or down. And what I do in those situations, I first I have an opinion because of my longer range view that Bitcoin is falling, and you see that it is. So I don't think I'm gonna be getting much resistance once Bitcoin break below that the year 2018 low, and it will. It bounced up now, but that's a sucker move. This is another chance for people to get out because once it falls below that, it's like 59 something another. Yeah, we're gonna be going down to like 3,700 before it stops. It's gonna go straight down to that level. It ain't even gonna be messing around. And so then when we get down to that level, when I'm talking like, I think I said 2,300, I'm probably gonna come off of that and maybe scooch it up to 25 or 2,600. But once it gets down to 37, my call is not going to seem so ridiculous to people. Once it breaks through that 59, it's on.
Okay, EOS.
But I'll get into that more when you start talking about gold.
Okay.
Well, didn't Bitcoin go down this week to like, what was it, 6,100, 659?
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, you got it. But I'm gonna get into
You
those
did.
details when you got gold on the later in your
Okay.
agenda.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna
Mhm.
integrate interest rate and dollar and gold and the whole complex,
Okay.
and
Uh,
it'll be what you was talking about, Mike.
I was hoping that Matty Ghost would have an opinion as well. If we can
Yeah,
get him.
absolutely. I definitely want to hear Maddie's opinion.
See, we talking. I like this. Love it. Maddie? Yes, no? Maybe? Okay. I know people were saying, man, I wish I would have gotten to Ethereum, but it was $10. It was just $10 last year, January. And now EOS, which if people who if they keep their ears to the street, crypto streets that is, EOS is at that level. And let's say you buy, okay, let's say what, 10? Let's say 10. Let's spend $100. Let's say EOS go up to $500. Man, come on.
You know the way I'm gonna look at this. I'm gonna set up I guess a portfolio just as like a test kind of to guide me. What I want the question I want to know is which crypto of I guess say the top 30 I guess with nice volume, which of those has had the greatest percentage in percentage decrease? Do you know the answer to that? The only way I can think to set it up is I'm going to go and set up a portfolio and put in, as though I purchased the particular crypto at its price high, whatever day that was, and then that portfolio. You can do this on YouTube, on Yahoo, or any free accounts. Lots of them let you do that. And that'll tell me which one went down the most. The reason I want to know that is because one, it's got good volume, and the one that went down the most, and me being a technical trader, it's going to recover that whole way. So the one that went down, lost the most money going down, will make the most money going up.
Besides Bitcoin,
It's just the purely technical view of it.
Okay. The only one I can think of is Ripple, because Ripple hit almost $4 a couple months ago.
Well, see, what was the see, that's why you can get fooled by the numbers until you convert it to percentage basis. That's the only thing that matters, not dollar amounts or you got to see whether it's 50% off of its high, or what. So Bitcoin right now, what would we say that's about? It's about 75, approaching 75%.
Okay, I see
off of its high.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that's the way. That's like I've a lot of serious traders. We kind of laugh when they tell you the Dow and the S&P dropped 100 points. What does that mean? That's completely meaningless. What you need to pay attention to is the percentage of the decline, because a 1% move is pretty serious. A 2 or 3% move, that's real serious. So for them, when they tell you how many points it dropped, well, that doesn't tell you anything. If the number they're talking about is 20,000, what does that matter if it dropped 100 points? But if it's a $5,000 instrument and it dropped 100 points, that's two completely different levels of decline.
Okay. Well, let's get to that gold. Go through these before we get to that gold article. But this article is from CCN also from yesterday. Western Union CEO not impressed by Ripple trial, doesn't see Bitcoin replacing fiat. Okay, Western Union, the largest money transfer service in the world, made waves earlier this year when it confirmed that it had partnered with Ripple to conduct a blockchain trial involving the XRP cryptocurrency. However, 6 months into their test, Western Union CEO Hikmet Ersek said that the firm has yet to see any real cost savings that warrant overhauling its system to use XRP for cross-border payment settlements. We are always criticized that Western Union is not cost efficient. blah, blah, blah. But we did not see that part of the efficiency yet during our test. Erkset told Fortune, the practical matter is it's still too expensive, he added without going into detail. Erkset, who was in New York to give a speech at the Economic Club of New York, said that he didn't want to kill the blockchain trial and that Western Union would still consider using XRP for settlement if Ripple could demonstrate a real efficiency improvement over its current system. Unsurprisingly, Ripple took issue with those comments, and Ashish Birla, the firm's senior vice president of product, told Fortune that it's not surprising that Western Union has not seen tremendous improvement since it has only actually made 10 transactions using XRP. If they were to move volume at scale, then maybe you will see something. But with 10, it's not surprising that they're not seeing cost savings. Barely said they do millions of transactions a month, and I'm not surprised that with 10 transactions, it didn't have earth-shattering results. Nevertheless, Erkset also threw shade, okay, they're using our slang, at cryptocurrencies during his scheduled remarks before the Economic Club, telling the audience that nations are built on flags, constitutions, borders, and currencies, and that no cryptocurrency is going to change that. Okay. The customers tell us what they want, he added. People aren't paying their hospital bills in cryptos. Meanwhile, Ripple seems to be itching back from its bold prediction that dozens of banks would adopt XRP by 2019, according to Reuters. We started out with your classic blockchain, which we love, Marcus Treacher, Senior Vice President of Customer Success at Ripple, told the publication. The feedback from the banks is you can't put the whole world on the blockchain. All right, my problem with this is, I think it's twofold. Western Union earns so much money in charging people to send money that it's ridiculous. No, XRP is going to cost 0.0001 XRP. Every time you do a transaction using Ripple, it burns a Ripple coin. So they're making so much money charging people to not only send it. I remember I sent my sister, we live in the same city. I sent her money via Western Union. It cost me $25. I remember I sent some money to another continent. It cost me $75 just to send it. And there's people that would say, that has said it's better to get on a train, or don't send it over the weekend. It's better to get on a train, but a plane, go to the place you want to send it and put the money in the person's hand than to send it via Western Union or MoneyGram. So they're not serious. Well, they still want to keep that income that they've been getting for X amount of years, that them charges. That's my thought about it.
Well, as you was reading that article, I was thinking, I mean, correct, you got a better handle on this than me, Mike, but my attitude was tough. Doesn't really matter what Western Union says. Change is going to be thrust upon them. Change or die. The marketplace is going to want the speed that you get with doing money transfers with a decentralized coin like a Ripple. Mm-hmm. I mean, am I making any sense at all, Mike? And just help me understand this too, because it seems that if the marketplace demands, if the end user, you or I, if we are the benefactors of some efficiency or some improvement then that alone will force Western Union to change their system, even if it doesn't offer them a benefit.
Well, that's because Western Union is tied in with the SWIFT system, and they're completely entrenched into it so deep that they can't even make that transition themselves. So they don't want to see any sort of promotion of cryptocurrencies or any sort of alternative currency away from the SWIFT system, because that means that their days are numbered. So they're going to try to fight to the bitter end, like Sears and Kmart and Toys R Us. They'll be the brick and mortar retail, for money transactions, and that's not going to last very long, because other places around the world are actually getting away from these brick and mortar institutions like Western Union and Chex Cash and all these other places that like to rip off minorities. That's not going to happen anymore.
That's why when I said change or die, I mean, it's kind of funny that Western Union would position themselves on the opposite side of the trend, and because if basically the next chess move is for some other brick and mortar place to say we'll accept it, some other brick and mortar place like Walmart and some other major Walmart like grocery stores that already get massive amount of foot traffic to say, if Western Union doesn't want that traffic or want that job, we'll take it.
And can I add on what you was just saying?
Walmart,
you said Walmart, and yes. I think BGS was saying stores like Target is going to go out of business because the retail apocalypse. So who's to say Target may say, well, we'll do this just to keep its doors open?
Well, Walmart has already invested into Bitcoin too, and talking about paying their employees in fractional Bitcoin tokens as a way to alleviate this whole $15 an hour fair wage hike that people have been proposing. The social justice warriors have been proposing. So the way they're looking at it is, you'll keep your minimum wage, but we'll also pay you in fractional cryptocurrencies.
Wow. So Walmart is really hoping that the value for I'm not speaking for Walmart. I'm just saying that such an idea, Walmart would benefit if the value of Bitcoin continues to fall, and they can get people to accept if they can realize a way to pay you less in Bitcoin. It could be a short-term loss for the worker, but a long-term gain when that coin starts to rise.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like, okay, we'll pay you on stock options.
Yeah, and it could end up being a great deal for Walmart in the short term and the employee in the long term. It could end up being a good thing.
Right, especially if they get to spend the cryptocurrency within the workplace itself, right? The place they probably shop most is where they work.
Oh man, because you can get a haircut in Walmart, you can get your car fixed, you can buy groceries and electronics. Yeah.
Now I'm looking at Western Union's stock is $20.69. Okay, kind of close that out, but imagine. I know people that will. I know. How am I trying to say this? I don't personally know people that will do this, but I know people would do this. Know that, okay, I know you get paid in crypto. You working at Walmart. You give me that crypto, and I give you instant. I give you the cash equivalent.
Oh, you mean they're gonna hustle it out?
Yeah, and so because a lot of people are like, oh, you'll pay me in crypto. I don't want that. Okay, you give me your crypto, and if you get paid $500 in crypto, I give you the $500 right now for that crypto.
It might be a little bit more nuanced than that, because it's such a system that requires all types of authentication and user input before something like that can happen. And not everybody is up on. Not everybody's going to be up on that sort of technology at the forefront. So, what I was saying before was that I think what would eventually happen is, instead of giving people or giving the employees, these a living wage, so to speak. What would eventually happen is, Matt, you got a lot of static.
Hold on, let me see if I can. Hey, okay. Hey, Matt, Ghost, whenever you gonna say something, just unmute yourself.
Instead of having a 401k, I have a crypto. Right, I can do a lot of things with this. With a 401k, you can't really do much, right? It's just for retirement. But in terms of like a crypto share within the pool of your other employees, that could open up a whole lot of other markets. Because who's to say that the next retailer online, like Shopify or whatever these other online retailers say, well, we accept such and such cryptocurrency too, like Ripple or something like that. And now these employees who do have a job don't make much, but have these crypto tokens or these coins, and they need a place to spend it. They're gonna want to spend it, and they're gonna want to spend it now.
Any other comments?
No, that's one to watch. That's one that would be getting a Walmart into the money transfer business away from and using cryptos. Walmart will force the hand of companies. It alone, they have that kind of power in the marketplace.
That'd be a good business to own, a franchise to own, Walmart, if they do that.
What is Walmart's stock price doing right now? What's the stock ticker doing right now?
Oh, let's see. You go to your can you pull it up, Linnell?
It's 80. I just Googled. It's 83.70. What you want me to go to?
Where you were on investor.com, that investing.com, whatever that site was, WMT, I believe is the symbol. I don't hear anybody, man.
I'm looking it up. WMT. Yeah. All right. Okay. So small.
How long is that decline thing? Is that 1 day, or what's that we're looking at?
Yeah. That's 1 day.
Gotcha. Yeah, give me a week. Let me click that. Let me see a week. Okay, gives us some perspective. Okay, where's that peak? That time, that peak price. What date is that? Or date is that?
It is one. That's not right. 1/21/2018.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
See that? I mean, just again, I would have to go deeper into analysis, but that looks like near a bottom, like where you see where the horizontal line is, where your crosshair is. That's near a support, and it looks like the price is turning up right around that. So you see around like where it says May and stuff. You see that right below your horizontal line, with your eyes looking to the left. You see where your horizontal line almost functions as like a resistance to the price.
Yeah.
And it looks like the price, we're going to curve up before. Looks like that resistance is going to be confirmed as price support. We don't look like we're going to go below that. That's just a very quick view of it like that. And with Walmart being in that consumer staple sector, the setup is here for the major indexes to fall, the money to go to Walmart and grocery stores, Kroger, and all of those kinds of stores. Interesting chart.
Mm-hmm.
How
Yeah,
things just kinda,
and the thing is,
go ahead, Mike.
yeah, the thing is, Western Union is going to be the yellow taxi of financial businesses, where they failed to make the transition, and then somebody like Uber or Lyft came in and usurped these yellow cab companies around the country, and now all the drivers are butthurt.
You know, the funny thing about it, when you have a company that makes a decision like that, you know, they basically sign their own death certificate. When it becomes obvious, you know, they look for a fall guy. Okay, so they make the president fall on the sword. They fire, they fire whoever the CEO is, and hire somebody else. When the board was behind the, you know, involved in a bad decision the whole time. You know, it's just that the stockholders demand, you know, somebody to take the blame. That's
They
gonna be
just sacrifice.
interesting to watch.
All right. Well, that helps us segue perfectly into this another CCN article. Overstock sees $120,000 a week in cryptocurrency revenue as stock surges 11%. Now, Overstock was like the first online company that said, "Yeah, we're going to accept Bitcoin as a payment." Jonathan Johnson, a member of the board of directors of Overstock, the 1 billion online retailer based in the U.S., has stated that cryptocurrency is a much better payment method than credit cards for merchants. Significant resources required. Due to buyer protection and the centralized aspect of credit card networks, it is possible for buyers to request refunds and cancellation of payments through third party service providers. Unforeseen payment errors can create legal problems and complicated issues that need to be addressed by both the company and the credit card operator. Consequently, Johnson revealed that Overstock has 40 employees in its fraud department alone, whose main task is to oversee credit card payments and resolve any potential issue that may occur in either the buyer's side or the credit card network's part. Johnson further emphasized that Overstock, excuse me, that for Overstock, accepting cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum is significantly easier and cheaper than accepting credit card payments because of the API of major cryptocurrency exchanges and brokerages like Coinbase that enable merchants, even large scale conglomerates, to accept cryptocurrency payments without establishing a secure and expensive infrastructure. We we pay a processing fee for credit cards, and we employ about 40 people in our fraud department. That's the cost of doing business with credit cards. When we take cryptocurrency, we have a very small transaction fee with Coinbase, much smaller than our credit card processing fee, and we have no fraud prevention department. It's like a cash transaction for us. That is a much deeper way, cheaper way of doing business, said Johnson. Overstock does have large cryptocurrency revenues. Throughout 2018, many multi-billion dollar companies like Twitter, CEO Jack Dorsey, Square, and not, and Revolut have integrated Bitcoin and other major cryptocurrencies. But investors expressed their skepticism toward the integration of cryptocurrencies by these leading platforms and the relevance of it in terms of its percentage over the total revenues of these companies. And it's a pretty long arm. I think it's almost over. In an address to the Heritage Foundation, a think tank in Washington, D.C., Johnson revealed that Overstock has between 68,000 to 120,000 in weekly cryptocurrency revenues. Its weekly revenues from cryptocurrencies likely vary every week due to the volatility of the market and the tendency of digital assets to increase and decline in value by large margins in the short term. We have somewhere between 68,000 and 120,000 a week in cryptocurrency revenues. People buying sheets and toasters using Bitcoin or Ethereum or other coins. Johnson said. As the president of Medici Ventures, a cryptocurrency investment arm of Overstock, Johnson added that the majority of retail investors struggle in participating in the capital markets and the strict regulated sectors, and as such, most opportunities are only available to accredited investors. But Johnson noted that the cryptocurrency market has changed the way retail investors can participate in investing with full transparency and liquidity. Today, so many of us can't participate in the capital markets the way accredited investors or well connected investors can. And those of us that are trying to raise money have a hard time crowdfunding or raising money in a democratized way. The optimistic development in Overstock's cryptocurrency ventures led to the shares of Overstock to surge more than 11%. So, what do you all think of that?
And see, first, I just want to repeat everybody clear on what accredited investor is for the people listening. That means people with a lot of money. That's what it means, basically.
What did we look up? They said at least $1 million.
He's a whale.
Yeah, yeah. Dollar Will is a whale.
Oh shit! They ain't got enough money to be no whale.
No, he's not a whale. The brother that he was speaking of, accredited investor. That means he's a whale.
Yeah.
Right. You gotta have something like what do you have? Have to have something like $1 million or something crazy. You can Google it. Everybody listen. You can Google accredited investor. It'll come up. It'll tell you what it is. It's got some financial. You're in the 1%. Put it that way. You don't have to be uber rich, but we talk about people with like $1 million.
Yep. In the United States, to be considered an accredited investor, one must have a net worth, not gross, worth of at least $1 million, excluding the value of one's primary residence, or have income at least $200,000 a year for the last 2 years, or $300,000 combined income if married, and have the expectation to make the same. This is from Wikipedia. So
now, see, Mike is one of those IT security people now. So people in his field, if they've been making that big money for at least 2 years, they possibly are accredited investors. they might meet that definition.
We're accredited investigators, not investors. I had to diversify my portfolio into CFE, certified fraud investigation inspector. So
wow. So that's who's really making the long dough, huh?
Well, there's other aspects in the market you gotta look at as well. So I mean, you can only go so far from the security analysis perspective. Not looking at the financials. You gotta start looking at the financials, because that's where all your bad guys are hiding their transactions and trying to get into your network and create insider threats. But that's a whole nother topic. Go ahead. I know.
Overstock has been accepting Bitcoin, and I didn't know they did accept Ethereum, but I knew they've been accepting Bitcoin to have for people to pay in Bitcoin to purchase things, which me personally, I thought that was a pretty cool idea. I'm glad they did that, because there's always going to be 1 or 2 people in the beginning to break the mold. But the Bitcoin that they have, I'm pretty sure they keep it, will keep some of it. Man, it's going to be worth a lot in the future.
Yeah, but how are they moving it into a fiat, right? I get that they hold it, but what are they going to do with it? I mean, you can't possibly have all of those cryptos inside your reserve and not actually move it to something more profitable, like a fiat currency as it is right now. So there has to be something that they're using, some kind of marketplace that they're using to cash out on this.
You talking about Overstock?
Yeah.
They're
using Coinbase.
Well, see, when you got big companies like that, they got enough money to sit on it. I hear what you're saying. They might be sitting there just eating the daggone paper loss. And gonna catch it on the rebound, because believe me, they got technical chart readers too. And they probably figure, okay, we can wait for this recovery to happen and sell it near the top. We'll just hold it now.
It says that in the article said when when we take cryptocurrency, we have a very small transaction fee with Coinbase. So I'm thinking, they if they do cash out, they do it with Coinbase.
But what Mike is saying, you got to move that to a fiat currency. I mean, if I hear what you say, it would make sense to sell it, to convert it to U.S. dollars, and then at a later time, if they want to get into crypto near closer to when the price is not not nosediving, that would make more sense. But when companies have this amount of money, they look at it differently. They can, I don't know. We don't know what they're doing. We're just guessing, but I'm just saying it could go either way.
Yeah, I'm saying they probably cashing out Bitcoin to fiat through Coinbase.
And they're not paying taxes. Like the
yeah,
but the IRS, SEC, the FTC got to be watching them.
Right.
They have to be under the microscope at this point, especially if they're in the news. I mean, it'd be one thing if they were redistributing it. They were instead of giving somebody just what do you call that? Store credit. They're probably giving you like a store crypto or a store token or something like that. I can understand that point because they're redistributing at that point. But if you're just holding on to it, there has to be another angle to that whole entire perspective.
Yeah, I'm saying the angle could be just like any other cash that they save for rainy day. They could be saving that with and with a plan of selling it. Let's say when Bitcoin gets not if, but when it gets from that 20,000, the next Fibonacci level is around 32, 33,000. So they could be, deciding or thinking that they're going to go at least up to that point. And you calculate the percentage of gain on that, and that's worth holding for them.
Well, I know. Would it be possible for you to pull up the Overstock stock market symbol?
Yeah, I don't know that one right off. You're going to have to type in there Overstock. And start typing.
I'm not mistaken, just a regular O. Well, let's go to the.
It's in that same way that Warren Buffett will buy businesses that's declining and near their deathbed, because he can project out that 3, 4, 5 years from now he's going to turn it around, and so he'll just eat the loss between now and then. They can afford to wait that long. I mean, let me rephrase that. If they can afford to wait that long, a lot of these companies will try it. But if they start having problems on their own, that they can take a beating for making that they can be criticized for making that business decision.
Ooh, that's a big
And what's that peak? That peak, where is that in time?
the 31st of December last year.
2017.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay, let's look at Amazon. What's that? AMZ, and they would be in the same sector as Amazon, just to see what the king is doing versus Overstock.
Yeah, because Overstock has always been an online retailer. It's not like it had a brick and mortar setup before.
Right.
Wow, they still going up.
Yeah. So that's strange. Now you got me curious, Mike. So if their stock is taking a dive like that, and they're in basically the same space as Amazon, what are they doing with these coins? They don't look like they're in a position to be holding.
Yeah. Oh, I like the technical analysis of that.
Well, that's me trying some fundamentals, but I'm just looking at the chart and trying. I'm walking over on y'all side of the street with the fundamentals, just guessing at it like everybody else. But that's why hey, you look at the charts, I feel safer over there. But it's fun playing a technical game sometimes. But I don't trade that way.
Now I know we're talking about purchasing things with cryptocurrency. This Smart Cash. They've come out with the card already, but in the future, I'm pretty sure in the future they're gonna find a way you can actually purchase things with Smart Cash. Go ahead.
No, I just want to go back one step. For Overstock, I think the difference between Amazon and Overstock is that Amazon has a very diverse portfolio, and different services and lines of business, whereas Overstock is a one-trick pony, selling clearance goods.
That's what we would call a pure play. So you saying that Overstock is more of a pure retailer?
Yeah, they're a J.C. Penney, they're a TJ Maxx. They're not, they're nothing like Amazon. Amazon has video and production and music and all types of things in their portfolio that's driving them up like that.
Yeah. While we're on this, I just want to one other thing. Can you go back to the charts and put up WU just so we can? I looked at the chart for Western Union just so we can close that out. It's an interesting chart.
So
click on the weekly. I'm trying to go back so you can get a view to go back to at least 2009.
Okay.
Just to see, because you remember like 2008-ish or whatever, just something like that. When you see that big spike on the left, that's where the market dive happened, and Western Union just kind of been going sideways ever since then. So their stock price has not recovered from that dive. And so if that's factor in their position on Bitcoin, if they start to suffer financially for that decision and the stock price isn't looking good, you can't really look at the stock price and say it's rising. It's in a sideways channel. So somebody could end up getting the knife if the stock price isn't rising, if they lose money on their position to abstain from cryptos. It's not a good look. They're taking a heck of a risky position to not go with the trend, something to give a jolt to their business.
Yeah, I was just about to say, you Sam, because they've been moving sideways for
10 years. What do you call that? You can't call that good or bad. It's neutral. It's neutral.
Because they've been going sideways for 10 years. They got to find something to up their stock price, and cryptocurrency is that perfect opportunity.
Yeah, so if they start losing real money, real revenue, because let's say Walmart is doing, or some other company decides to jump in the void that Western Union is leaving, and Western Union starts losing revenue, that's going to be interesting. But I just wanted to backtrack to throw that in there. That's all I wanted to show.
That's good.
We'll have to keep our eye on that.
All right. Next. This is from investing.com. 2 large Russian banks test cryptocurrency banking solutions. 2 of the largest banks in Russia, Alpha Bank and Sberbank, have begun the process of starting their own trading solutions for 6 of the most reliable cryptocurrencies. The projects are in line with the Russian central bank's regulations, which require all participants in the cryptocurrency market to register with it. We want to offer our clients a completely transparent version of entry into digital assets that fully meets the regulatory requirements that would allow them to invest in an interesting product in Russia, said Anna Ivanchuk, Deputy Director of Sberbank Private Banking, Anton Rahmanov, Managing Director of Product Developments at Alpha Bank, considers that it's only a matter of time before cryptocurrencies become a global phenomenon, adding that it would be foolish to ignore them. Just talked about Western Union. Our goal is to accelerate the adoption of a decision on the recognition of the CFA investment assets and introduce them into the legal fields as quickly as possible. It's not clearly exactly which 6 cryptocurrencies are going to be included in these platforms, but Russian newspaper Kommersant suggests that Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, and Litecoin will be among them, citing that they account for 75% of the entire coin market. I did not know that. Something tells us, however, that this system will not put cryptocurrencies directly in the hands of banks' clients. The client actually receives a fund unit. The asset backing these funds are stored using custody solutions and audited by Group IB Security, Cybersecurity. The unit is liquid, so it is possible to request a withdrawal to the client's currency at any time, said Alexei Prokofiev, managing partner at Ad Capital, the provider for the infrastructure these banks will use. Prokofiev adds that cryptocurrencies will be bought and sold using audited cryptocurrency exchanges like Bitstamp or Kraken. For a country that had its run-ins with cryptocurrencies, it appears that Russia is among the first to venture head first into the cryptocurrencies at the commercial bank level. Excuse me. All right. So, what do you all think of this?
Well, at least there seemed to be a little forward thinking.
Yeah.
That's all I can make of that.
Yeah, this was eventually going to happen as Russia's being pushed off of the SWIFT system. They had to start looking at alternatives, and I think we've talked about this before that Russia is in desperate need to get to speed up the processing and create their SPF system, which is an alternative to the SWIFT, to hurry up and get off. And it should come up in the next article that you bring up for North Korea. It kind of goes more into deeper analysis.
Did you want to say anything else, Oliver?
No, I was going to ask about since we were talking about Western Union and money transfer. Does anybody? Okay, I have a question. I know American Express, they issue traveler checks, but does American Express do currency conversion?
I don't know.
Mike, you know? Mike.
To my knowledge, they do not. I talked with them last night about that actually.
Gotcha. Okay.
Man,
they got offices everywhere.
Yeah, I think they're trying to. I think they just want to stay clear of all of that stuff.
Gotcha.
Because the market is so up and down with the federal government. So.
Gotcha.
All right. So. North Korea, this is from thehill.com. Could North Korea use cryptocurrency to dodge international sanctions? Oh, yes. Let's get on in this. This is the 5th of June. Excuse me. With the June 12th summit between President Trump and North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un just a few days away. A critical, unanswered question is, will international sanctions continue to be effective in the new world of cryptocurrencies and other forms of digital money? Kim is reportedly looking toward cryptocurrencies as a new tool to increase independence and ease some of the economic burden of sanctions. Cybersecurity firm Recorded Future has linked North Korea to cyber attacks on investors and exchanges, while South Korea has accused the North of stealing millions of dollars in cryptocurrencies. Priscilla Morici, a former NSA cybersecurity official, estimates North Korea also earns between 15 million and 200 million by mining and selling cryptocurrencies. In addition, North Korea has pursued other avenues for obtaining cryptocurrencies. These include ransom paid to North Korea wallets in Bitcoin during the country's attack on UK hospitals in May of last year. But what's most concerning to many observers is the possibility that North Korean cyber specialists will someday create their own cryptocurrency to dodge US and UN sanctions. They wouldn't be the first. With Western sanctions crippling their economies, Iran, Russia, and Venezuela are already exploring state sponsored cryptocurrencies as an escape hatch. In Iran, state controlled Press TV reported that the country's information and communications technology minister favors cryptocurrencies as a vehicle for circumventing sanctions because they are not under the supervision of the U.S. financial regulatory body. In Russia, the Financial Times reported that Putin economic advisor Sergei Glazev supports the creation of a crypto ruble as a useful tool to settle accounts with our counterparties all over the world with no regard for sanctions. And in Venezuela, President Nicolas Maduro has declared that its newly launched Petro will serve as a kind of kryptonite against the power of the U.S. government, according to Time. Moreover, both Iran and Venezuela are reportedly coordinating their cryptocurrency planning with Russia. Ooh, let me read that again. Moreover, both Iran and Venezuela are reportedly coordinating their cryptocurrency planning with Russia, aiming to create a bloc of countries that could challenge Western dominated financial markets, or at least create an independent system for international transactions. Very interesting. This news raises a couple of urgent questions for investors and policymakers. One is whether it will be possible for adversarial or rogue nations to create cryptocurrencies that compete with those presently available. The answer is that it is not likely. The entire concept of state sponsored cryptocurrencies is an oxymoron, which it is, especially under an authoritarian regime. For a cryptocurrency to achieve any measure of adoption, it must adhere to the four fundamental democratic principles that are the essence of the cryptocurrencies. One is resistance to censorship, which would be a direct threat to any government that censors its media. A second is that it must be open to all participants without government permission, which is virtually impossible in a government controlled economy. A third is that it must be borderless, which is unthinkable under a regime that wants to restrict the flow of people and money in and out of the country. Finally, it must be decentralized, the polar opposite of highly centralized government sanctions. Thus, by its very nature, a government, let alone an author, oh my God, authoritarian one, cannot issue a cryptocurrency that will have any chance of competing with existing cryptocurrencies. No one will want to use them, even in their own countries. These would be not. These would be not. These would be not be what the hell cryptocurrencies. They would be strictly traditional government issued money in digital forms, using some of the same advanced technologies that cryptocurrencies use. That's a good point. They would be strictly traditional government issued money in digital form. Okay. The second pertinent question is whether it would be possible for adversarial or rogue nations to use state-backed digital money to have established an alternative system of international transactions, thereby weakening the West's ability to use sanctions to leverage against them. The answer is yes, provided they can handle large volumes. Currently, virtually all international transactions are cleared under the auspices of the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Transactions, or SWIFT, which, with digital money, a consortium of countries like North Korea, Venezuela, Iran, Russia, and others could establish a system of payments that is faster and more efficient. Moreover, thanks to the higher level of security that this new form of digital money could provide, their payment system could be an attractive alternative to countries seeking to avoid sanctions. This concept is of only tangential interest to investors, but it is worthy of urgent review by global monetary authorities, particularly if President Trump intends to continue using sanctions for leverage in his negotiations with North Korea and others. Lengthy article, but it's some good points in here. Anybody?
Yeah, which tied back into the previous article about Russian banks testing out cryptocurrency. So, we see where the market is going, but more importantly, we see North Korea is not sitting down, twiddling their thumbs, not doing anything, just sitting idle.
Right. They making moves, man.
Now, what they're accusing them of is all these allegations of them hacking and doing ransomware attacks and to collect for crypto mining and cryptocurrencies. There's so much, fluff in that, because how do you verify who's behind the computer anyways? You don't know who's behind the computer when a hack is happening. So you don't know if it's North Korean or Chinese or even Japanese for that matter. You don't know who's behind it. I hate when these articles politicize, the technology aspect of this whole entire thing. They try to make it seem like, oh, these guys are just sitting around doing malicious things. Like, you guys do malicious things too. I've been there.
Technology is a weapon.
Didn't Putin say that when what's that chick name from whatever ABC countries, not countries, but a broadcasting thing?
Are you talking about Megyn Kelly?
Yeah, Putin took that ear thing out of his ear. He said, "Look, you all can make anything, say anything, so don't come with me."
Oh, he said, "Read my lips." No,
right.
That's what he said. He told her, "Read my lips." No.
She was looking a little frightened there. She's like, "Oh my God, okay."
Yeah, because that doesn't work against it. It doesn't work against guys like him.
Right.
You can't pull a straw man.
I'm glad he told it to her, but because she irritates. But anyway.
So
you
Venezuela,
say about this?
Venezuela, North Korea, Iran,
yep.
Russia.
Those are the main the big players.
They all have one thing in common.
Right. Those are the main. Man. So if they doing this, all the other countries are basically going to fall in line.
Well, not so much as fall.
How are you guys doing?
Hey,
what's going
on, man? What's going on? See?
Hey, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, long time no see, guys. How you been?
All right. How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm good, man. All I was gonna say is this isn't. I think with the cryptocurrencies, maybe it's not the original intent of it, but the sanction stuff is definitely maybe on the minds, I'm guessing, of the people who originally came out with it, because they were trying to break out from the hegemony of the SWIFT system, right? Which is solely in the hands of, the quote unquote West, so the United States and their Western allies. So a lot of countries, got bent over by the SWIFT system, and so this is finally their opportunity to, get up under their thumb.
Yeah, to throw the bird. Yeah, okay. I agree. Personally, I do agree. I mean, it's common sense, to tell you the truth. Am I the only one on here?
Oh no! Yeah. Actually, I looked into like what the SWIFT system was because I was a little interested, and basically, it's like a more advanced system of I guess almost like text messages from between banks. And I was like, what the hell? This is incredibly. I was gonna think is something like super complicated, but it's
that's what they don't like about it.
It's like 1990s technology.
Yeah.
And it takes forever.
Right.
Like I said earlier, don't send money on a Friday afternoon.
Oh God, yeah.
It's gonna get there Tuesday.
Right. Bankers and their lazy. Oh, we have to have Saturday, Sunday off, right?
Yeah.
But the rest of us, we got to work on weekends.
But don't forget the market closes at 4. So if you don't get in by 4, you don't get your bid in by 4. It doesn't matter anyways.
Yeah. So you send the money at 3:00 on Friday.
I mean, let me ask you the obvious. So, do you think that these countries like the fact that the system is slow?
No.
Okay.
And they also don't like the fact that the flow of the market goes to Wall Street and London. That really hurts them, because any sort of business that needs to take place will be halted right at the gates, right? So having these cryptocurrency systems in place, having decentralization established, allows bilateral relations to take place. I think Egypt has been working on a cryptocurrency for themselves, a domestic cryptocurrency for themselves. Turkey has been rumored, because I think I sent the article last week for last week's hangout, that the lira has taken a sharp dip, and they're hurting at this point. Turkey is really hurting, and elections are coming up in a few weeks. So, this rides on Erdogan's agenda to reaffirm the citizens that there's some form of stability coming forward, and that could probably tie into why Turkey decided to go with the S-400 and to move away from the United States with the F-35 and NATO.
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of, hoping for this dollar to finish its move, and because it's going to put pressure on all these foreign currencies while this dollar strength is here. But looking at it from, say, February of 2018, the dollar has to make an ABC pattern going up, going north. We still in the A part of the leg. So we got a good ways to go. And so it's gonna get worse for these foreign currencies before it gets better, because the dollar is not gonna stop. No, it's not gonna happen. We're not near the end of the dollar rise.
But
have you guys already talked about the trade war stuff, or have you guys?
No, we haven't gotten to that yet.
Okay, I'll hold on then.
But doesn't that help their cause in creating their own crypto to circumvent and get around all this stuff?
Yeah, it strengthens the argument to do it. I mean, what would you say, Mike?
Yeah, I agree with you. It also makes sense if you have a lot of resources. North Korea has lots and lots and lots of resources. I think they have $1 trillion in resources that are untapped. So there's an urgency for North Korea to get into the cryptos and look for an alternative to get around the sanctions. And if you're Russia and you have all this oil and gas that you need to pump out, and you have some, and don't forget that Russia is one of the last bastions of organic farming, non-GMO products in their agriculture. So there's a urgency.
Actually, isn't that all of Europe? I thought Europe banned GMO products.
Well, Russia is the only one that hasn't actually been infiltrated by the seeds, right? So some of the seeds have spread around to some of these European states, and they've had to battle it out in court, right? So, but Russia hasn't had to have that issue because they made sure to get rid of Monsanto before they even got across the border. So there's a high demand for Russian wheat, Russian agriculture coming out of Europe, as well as Turkey.
Okay, so now we know, since the SWIFT system goes to Wall Street, and the entire world is on the SWIFT system, which means America knows what you're doing with your money and who you send it to. With this cryptocurrency, it circumvents that, and all these countries with these resources, like you said, North Korea, Russia, and Venezuela and Iran, they can use a cryptocurrency to conduct direct trade without a middleman, which will be America, the direct trade with whoever they want to. Now, per the article, it was saying, if they create their own cryptocurrency, they really can't create, a country cryptocurrency because it's just going to be that country's current fiat currency in digital form. So, what cryptocurrency? If everybody choose a current cryptocurrency that's already out, what which would it be?
Don't
Well,
you think it would
that's something
depend?
that they have to. That's something
Oh,
that
go
they
ahead.
have to agree on. That's something that they have to agree on, right? So they'll probably form some kind of alliance, some kind of digital currency alliance, and have to sit down and start agreeing on what's the best method of going about this. Do we create nation state cryptocurrencies, or do we create a global cryptocurrency that allows us to all do business together on the same wavelength? That's
Right,
something
and
that's something that Gaddafi was looking at with the golden dinar, right? So instead of all African countries having these independent currencies, well, why don't we just have one gold backed currency? And instead, with cryptocurrencies, it's going to be resource backed by oil, gas, and other natural resources. But what happened when Saddam Hussein decided that he was going to stop trading his oil in dollars and decided to go with the euro? There was something that happened in 2003.
Go ahead, Anti.
right, and also even if they had their own, cryptocurrencies, that doesn't mean that they still couldn't, move stuff around in secret. Like for example, the Petro, the Venezuelan cryptocurrency, technically it's illegal for a U.S. Citizen to buy, but that doesn't mean they couldn't buy it, right?
Hmm.
Because wallets are, very very difficult for people to get a hold of and see, who owns this particular wallet, or you know what I mean, that kind of thing. But yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead.
I agree with y'all. You know, if they do create or choose a cryptocurrency, people are going to invest in it because it's new technology and it's the future. People are going to invest in it. Any other comments on this?
It looks like we got our boy Matty Ghost in here. Is that Matty Ghost?
Oh, what's going?
Yeah, yeah. I was
Yeah.
here earlier. Mom died on me.
Yeah, we started talking about money and look who showed up.
That's right, Mr. Money.
Now
You
this
see,
go ahead.
my MMX, it went up again.
And what is that company?
They do stuff for like wildfire. They provide equipment.
Okay.
They did like a demo in California, and I think they got some contracts coming up.
Now we got another article. This is from Cointelegraph by Molly Jane Zuckerman. She writes a lot of articles. CBOE, Chicago Board of, what, uh, I'm losing my thought. President, SEC decision that Ethereum is not a security paves way for ETH futures. Oh, man. All right. CBOE Global Markets President Chris Concanon said that Ethereum futures, which the company has been considering since December 2017, could soon be offered. Bloomberg reported Thursday, June 14. Concanon's comments follows the news that senior U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) officials stated that leading altcoin Ethereum will not be regulated as a security. CBOE's president said that the SEC's stance could mean that the U.S. regulator would allow the options exchange to add Ether futures to their portfolio. We are pleased with the SEC's decision to provide clarity with respect to current Ether transactions. This announcement clears a key stumbling block for Ether futures, a case the case for which we've been considering since we launched the first Bitcoin futures in 2017. CBOE's December launch of Bitcoin futures sparked a large rally for the cryptocurrency, whose price at the time in December 10 rose from around 15,000 to around $16,800, bringing so much trading value to the site that it temporarily went down. We're talking about Coinbase, I think. The first futures contract expired on just January 17th at a price of around $10,000, making it a win for bears. Bitcoin futures were in the news this week for other reasons, as Fundstrat's Tom Lee pointed to their contract expiration as a possible reason for Bitcoin's recently sinking price. Bitcoin is currently trading for around $6,541, down a little more than 1% over a 24-hour period to press time. Now, I will not be surprised if the SEC's decision to not make Ethereum a security was based upon the CBOE putting a quote unquote bug in their ear saying, hey, there's money to be made here. Why don't you not declare it a security? Now, Matty Ghost, you sent this article. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I think after cryptocurrency goes through their correction, there'll be a rebound. So they're just trying to find a bottom for a technical trade so they can load up.
Well, this is confusing to me. Let's see. All right. So when you don't declare it a security, let's see. Mike, help me. So this is basically a tax issue, right?
Yes.
So if it is a security, then you have to do all the paperwork you would like for any other stock transaction. If it's not a security, what does that mean with regard to taxes? Does that mean that does it mean that I can't imagine that it means that you keep the capital gain? Does it? So let's deal with that. Do you pay taxes on it?
Yeah,
on
you
gain?
do. You still got to report.
Yeah, you do pay taxes on gain.
But does it just change the way you pay the way you report it? What's the difference? What significance does it make whether it's a security or not if you pay taxes on it either way?
Because it's not regulated. It's not a regulated security, but you still got to report taxes on it.
Okay, let me see this. I'm gonna slow it down even more. So are you saying to me that for securities, the broker is compelled by law, required by law to report your activity, your gains from your account to the IRS, let's say in America, and then you make your reporting, you do your individual taxes, and the IRS will have they'll measure the two, and if there's no discrepancy, everything is fine. But if it's not a security, you're saying the broker doesn't have to report your trading activity of that instrument to the IRS. The IRS is just going to rely on you to self-report.
Yeah, and then they'll do an audit. They'll do a random audit on people and see where their income, where their extra cash is coming from. Like how they caught a couple of people with profits on cryptocurrencies.
Okay, so we're going to go to the honor system with random audits.
Yeah, that doesn't sound efficient.
Is that the way you reading this, Mike? He probably had to step up. Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm here. Yeah, and that's a part of the issue, right? So people can hide. Well, I should say people can hide, but the whales can hide their their gains within these non-regulated securities, and basically cash out later on in somewhere in Nicaragua or some other cryptocurrency island like Puerto Rico.
Well, and even for the small fish like us, when you start talking about futures, let's see, everybody is trading less than about 30,000. We are subject to the pattern day trading rule, but the options and futures trading is not subject to the pattern day trading rule. So I can see a whole lot of small fish like us trading, day trading options and futures contracts, and then people, you know, not reporting.
Okay. Let me get this straight. What you're saying is, well, not you specifically. And what you are saying is this: I invest in a altcoin, and I
Let's
get
just stay with
10.
Ethereum for now because it
Yeah,
hasn't spread to it to
yeah.
anywhere
Well,
else.
yeah. I'm getting back. I'm gonna bring it back to Ethereum.
Okay.
I invest in an altcoin, and it's in my wallet,
Mhm.
and I get 10,000 gain, and I take it and I transfer it from my wallet to let's say a decentralized exchange, and I transfer it, buy Bitcoin. Well, I sell it to Bitcoin and buy Ethereum. I take that Ethereum to my Coinbase account and cash out. So technically, it looks like I'm selling Ethereum when from the beginning it was this altcoin that I had a 10,000 plus gain on, $10,000 gain on.
Yeah, but you still gotta report it.
Yeah,
The
I
more
report it. I report it, but Ethereum is not a security. This other altcoin is a security.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So I sold the
yeah,
security in a decentralized exchange and bought Ethereum and cashed the Ethereum out.
yeah,
So that don't that sounds like it can get messy real quick.
yeah.
Well, tell the truth.
Well, yeah, I told the truth. I sold my Ethereum.
As long as you tell the truth, you have no problem. If
I
you
did. I sold
and,
my Ethereum. That.
and half the truth is still a lie. Tell the whole truth.
Well,
It's
I'm
Yep.
just
gonna
saying.
get messy, yeah.
Yeah.
And check this out. You know they like you said they're gonna wait. Wow, when you say random audits, okay. So all right. Could it be that they know that look, so few people have been reporting their cryptocurrency activity in their on their 1040 filings, on their tax filings, that they probably already projected that it's going to be so many people that's not going to report, that the administrative burden of prosecuting all these people, investigating all these people, can crash the system itself. So why not just do random audits? It's sort of
Well,
like the police with the radar gun. He knows everybody's speeding. He just gonna pull over 2 or 3 people and give them a ticket. The other 500 gonna go.
well, I know they requested Coinbase give them all of their customer user accounts. I think
But
sometime last year.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If this altcoin, Coinbase only got 4 or 5 currencies, they're gonna add another one, Ethereum Classic, I think. But uh, that leaves what 1,500 altcoins that you made a killing on, and you exchanged it in your Exodus wallet, your Jax wallet, your decentralized exchanges, and you
Yeah,
bought Ethereum, and you transferred the Ethereum to Coinbase and cash out. That that's what
yeah,
I'm that's what I'm saying.
it's gonna get messy. Like
So,
like someone
yeah.
said earlier. It,
So
it
it's like,
gets more it gets more difficult the more times you transfer your money over.
and so it's like, how do you know if you got these decentralized exchanges or any other exchange? How do you know that, okay, you did whatever you did? The point in which you transfer your Ethereum to fiat is Coinbase or Gemini or um, yeah, these American exchanges if you're in America.
You gotta keep up with. You gotta keep up with. That's what they're trying to say.
Yeah. I mean, if a person doing that, I'm pretty sure that person don't have a problem saying, "Hey, tax man, I cashed out my Ethereum."
Yeah,
You know,
but the whales have a way of getting around it. That's probably why they came up with that thing about Ethereum.
Yeah, you know, if we're in a dangerous area now, because you know how the IRS, you know, they'll start estimating stuff on you.
man,
You show up with no daggone documentation, boy, they start guessing at it.
I know my Coinbase account, it shows like what I sold for. I mean, when I bought it and when I sold it. It has like the gain on it. That's what I gave my tax person.
right, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's what people will give. People will happily give that information from Bitcoin, the transactions from Coinbase. They'll happily give their CPA that information to do their taxes. But like I'm saying, you importing that money from another source out in the cryptocurrency sphere to Coinbase to cash out. So that information from Coinbase you'll just turn over.
I think they're just gonna when they do the audit. I think they just go from whatever major exchange you use, which would be the Coinbase.
Oh man.
Yeah, but people are not gonna want to pay, especially when they start making really, really big money, and they cross that threshold, and that tax rate goes up, you know, high into the high 30s, and they're like, wait a minute, so you mean to tell me I'm basically got to do a 60-40 split with the government? People are not gonna want to do it.
I had a question. What if you do an LLC? Would there be a way to incubate it?
I guess you would pay whatever the tax rate is for that. You really gonna have to get with an accountant then. How you gonna figure that out? How you gonna form an LLC and let the money flow through the business into your pocket?
That's some next level stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
Well, you could establish a blind trust.
Yeah, okay, but if that trust looks like a front, like, you know, it's not really an independent, and the money is ending up in your account.
In your account only.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand, people gonna try anything they can to get around it, and it's gonna come through the news, and Molly Jane Zuckerman is gonna write about it, and we're gonna read about it, and everybody else gonna read about it and say, okay, well, that don't work, let's try something else.
You know what I think is gonna happen? And this ain't based on nothing. This is just me, just feeling, just getting in my instinct, my intuition about how people when we got a new class of people that's gonna come into wealth. Okay, they've been working class, or we've been working class all our life, and when they get up into that rich class, and now they have to pay rich man tax rate, they're gonna be like Ice Cube. High taxes is great when somebody else is paying them, but when you start making money and you have to be the one paying, you get new politics. I think we're gonna see a whole range of people consider giving up their American citizenship just over the tax law.
Oh, I'm already looking at that.
You got places in Europe that have so low of a tax percentage on cryptocurrency, like Denmark, that you're just going to attract people. And you got these countries like we discussed, Malta, that's going to be a cryptocurrency hub for people and businesses. It's going to attract people, especially people that have come into new wealth and continuing wealth.
Right. I'm hoping that cryptocurrency, wide participation in crypto trading forces a revision, a complete restructuring of the tax law. You know, I'm hoping for that. You know, I would like to see us go to something very simple and basic, like a ridiculously high sales tax, and let the government get the money from businesses and leave the individuals alone.
You mean like a VAT?
Yeah.
I don't think they'll do that because that's how they control people, by taxing the piss out of them.
Well, you would pay taxes either way. You would pay taxes either way, but the problem is if you keep taxing the lower end of the spectrum, then what happens is their spending power becomes less, and therefore you can't make it up in sales taxes like you should, because people are going to buy things that they need at the end of the day. And if they can't afford to spend it because they're being taxed to the hilt at the bottom, it doesn't make any sense. So you're going to have to have some kind of value added tax, like Dollar Will was saying.
And also, it's just a psychological thing. When I go to the cash register to pay for something, and I'm paying my tax incrementally, and I'm getting the good or service right at that moment, you're gonna balk. But what you gonna do? You gonna give up the money to get the good or service. But when you ask me to pay taxes on around April 15th for the entire past year, and I'm able to actually eyeball what that dollar amount is, I don't want to give that up. So it's just easier to take the money from the lowly worker, lowly citizen, incrementally as we buy the groceries, the gasoline, or whatever. I think that's it. Just it makes it easier for us to pay it. It makes it easier for the government because it's less paperwork from, you don't have all these paper coming from, Joe Citizen. You go straight to the businesses and throw the business owners in jail if they don't give up the money.
Now I'm interested to know, once these cryptocurrencies start distributing cards, you can go directly to the store and buy your stuff with, and just that's circumventing the whole tax system itself, because you give me a card and I got this cryptocurrency and I got other cryptocurrencies I can just simply cash out in. Like, again, these decentralized exchanges they're starting to pop up everywhere, and buy their cryptocurrency and just continue to buy whatever I need. Go to Walmart, use my cryptocurrency card, and just purchase stuff. How are they gonna get their money if that's the case?
I know Singapore, they got like 60% digital transactions.
Wow.
China has 99% digital transactions.
Damn.
They use WeChat. That's how they get around using cash. They're a cashless society at this point. All the millennials have never seen cash because they've always used digital currency.
Wow.
See? So to what you said, that they're gonna have to change the structure. There's no other way around it. Either change it, or A, lose money, and B, get left behind.
You also don't want you don't want something that looks like a mutiny where the people just rebel against policy in mass, because you can't enforce. You need people to voluntarily comply. The government can't really enforce something if a significant number of people just say we're not going to do it. So they have to be careful about how far they get out of step from what people are willing to voluntarily do.
And to what you all are saying, when people move over to another country, all these little countries that are immediately next to America, such as the Bahamas, Cuba, and all these other countries that have a low, it doesn't cost a lot to live there. They may get an influx in inheritance, and they may end up getting money.
That's what I'm looking at when I retire.
Dominicans, they may start getting all this new money with these new people having all this wealth. They may get an influx of new money, and they economy may start to boom, sucking money from America.
Yeah, I think first world countries are in trouble, man. People, you got, on YouTube and other social media sites, people looking at going to these, underdeveloped countries or developing nations, and you have people that's willing to give up the first world kind of lifestyle to go basically live like a king in a poorer area.
Right.
Ding.
Oh, that sounds like you, Maddie Ghost. That's you.
Yeah, did the thing, solves a lot of problems. No
Yes.
competition. I get what I want.
Throw the police driver that drove a couple pesos. Good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
He was like, yeah. Leave me alone. All right, Dollar Will, the man, the myth, the legend. You about to get into this gold. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, this is from investing.com. Go. Hold on. Hey, Mike, did you want to say something?
I actually want to follow up on what Dollar Will was saying about changing the tax code. The tax code is just outdated. It doesn't suit today's needs, and this whole cryptocurrency transition that you're starting to see is outrunning the whole entire tax system. And we could actually simplify it, like Dollar was saying, down to just a value-added tax or a sales tax, for that matter. And it may not. I don't know about DC or the DMV, but up here you can't tax food, so you don't tax food. But things like SUVs, be the first thing you go out there and you tax, because in a society that's trying to transition to EV, electric vehicles, there's really no need to have these big gas guzzling vehicles on the road where people's attitudes have been largely shaped to be dominant and be bullies on the road. Well, tax them first. Like, go after those guys first.
Now you're gonna have the short man society coming after you. All them Napoleon complex guys driving them big vehicles. Go see Mike V. Dollar Will ain't saying nothing.
The first one is gonna come after me is Obsidian.
Oh man!
Oh, I'm gonna leave that alone, man. RC got into it today. I'm gonna leave right on past that, man.
What's going on? What's going on, Complex?
What's up?
Oh, I'm good. I've been listening, man, but I got my little one here, and then just getting in and dealing with doing what a dad has to do with a 6-year-old. But I'm listening to you guys, man. So good stuff. A few more minutes, man, and I'm gonna chime in.
All right.
Hey, is Anti-Gravity still here?
No, I think he had because today is the Eid. Yeah, he's observing today, so it's a holiday. So yeah.
It's holiday.
Okay. All right, let's get into this gold. Gold all of them. Okay. Gold price. This is from investing.com. Gold prices tumble in 2018 low. All right, let's get into it. Investing.com. Gold prices slid in mid-morning trade on Friday, hitting its lowest level so far this year, despite news that the U.S. was pushing forward with tariffs on additional $50 billion in Chinese goods. At 10:47 a.m. Eastern Time, gold futures for August delivery on the COMEX division of the New York Mercantile Exchange fell $25.70 or 2% to $1,282.60 a troy ounce. That was close to an intraday low of $1,281.10, its lowest level since December 25th. U.S. President Donald Trump announced a 25% tariff on $50 billion of Chinese goods on Friday, with China threatening to respond. The two largest economies in the world have been in a tit-for-tat over global trade tariffs in recent months as the two struggle to reconcile their trade differences. The tariffs have increased chances of a full-blown global trade war as the European Union and Canada have voted to retaliate against U.S. metal tariffs. Gold is generally sought out as a safe haven store of value in times of political and economic uncertainty. Expert RBC Wealth Management pointed to the losses in U.S. equities on Friday and suggested that gold was being hit by investors who were raising cash to cover losses in stocks. Ooh, so that's a gold sell-off, it sounds like. They remain upbeat on the precious metal based on current geopolitical tensions and signs of inflation. Another metal trading, silver futures sank 3.2% at $16.71 a troy ounce by 10:50 a.m. Palladium futures fell 1.6% to $990.10 a troy an ounce, while sister metal platinum lost 2.2% at $890.50. In base metals, copper traded down 2.1% to $3.15 a pound. Now, before you get into it, what's the difference between regular metals and base metals?
You got me.
I couldn't understand anything you said.
It said in base metals and it mentioned copper.
Oh, it must be talking about like industrial,
Okay.
like copper, aluminum. I presume that's what they mean.
Okay.
Stuff you use to
Build
build buildings and stuff like that.
Gotcha. All right.
You got a chart you can pull up, XAU, USD? I saw something really strange in gold's chart when all this volatility was going on. It took a serious dive, then it came right back up. I'm like, this is wow. So a lot of people determined that to try to stop this thing from falling, and I was like, you can't stop it. But it fell and they brought it right back up, and then it started curving. You could see clearly that it was gonna fall again. Let's see. I want you to pull up like a candlestick chart and try to get something like 15 minutes or something like that.
I'm on investing.com. Is that fine?
Yeah. Okay. You in the upper, there you go, right there, candlestick. There you go. And we
enlarge this.
There you go. Is there a way what you got? 15 minutes? That's 15 minutes?
Yeah.
That's too much detail. Try to give me like an hour. See what that looks like.
There you go.
Not seeing it. Okay. Well, I'm not. It's not. I don't remember the view I saw, but maybe it was daily. But it was some view I had where it's like the thing just dropped like a rock, and then like within it looked like a V. It looked like a V, and it dropped, and it came right back. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what time. I'm gonna stop looking for the time frame I had. But when it was happening in real time, it was like it just dropped. It didn't gradually drop. It was just like a rock, and then people bought it back up, and then it fell again.
This is a long red candlestick.
It was pretty violent, man. It was pretty violent.
This is a long red candlestick right here.
Yeah. That's pretty ugly. Now, remember last week we were talking, and I was saying that we're sitting on a support, with gold and Exxon, and I was saying last Friday that when we do fall, I was telling you that the chart setup it appears to me that when we fall, it is going to be a nasty spike, we're gonna fall like a knife. And I think that pretty much showed it, and I don't think we really started yet. Okay. This ain't nothing yet. That's what I'm trying to say. This is real. It ain't the dollar is just it's just at the starting gate. It ain't even really taken out the high from the beginning of June. So when that happened, when the dollar was falling since May, like the first week in May, not the first of June, the first week in May, and so it hasn't recovered all of that. And when that happens, a lot of alarm bells are going to go off, because you still have people of the opinion that this bounce up in the dollar is a part of a downtrend. But when it breaks the rule and creates a higher high, then that forces everyone to say, "Oh, wait a minute, the dollar is trending higher." We have to change our bias. So all these these computers that are programmed to make the trades, the bias in those computer programs is going to change going to play the dollar from the long side, and they're going to be programmed to immediately evacuate gold and oil, in anything paired with the dollar like Bitcoin. You're going to see some serious pressure on everything. And again, the quicker that happens, I think the better. Can I show us a couple of charts?
Can you show a couple of charts?
Yeah, I got some lined up.
I'm just open this up for just
Trying to see. Let's see.
Just open it up.
Let's see. Maybe this is what I want. Okay. First, I got this first screen. Can everybody see this? See the sentence says central bank rates?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's just interesting. So now the U.S. With central rates, 2%. This lets you kind of see that for everywhere we're higher, except for what's this, Mexico?
Mexico.
So that's going to tell you right there. It's going to keep drawing money there to the U.S. dollar. That's this. Now, this is the dollar versus the Swiss franc, USD CHF, daily chart. This is what that spike was looking like. That's serious, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
We rolling. So this is the part from early May I was talking about. When we cross this, I didn't say if, when we cross this, it's going to set off alarms that we are really in an uptrend. It really should have already set it off here, because the peak at this part, we go in a little bit. The peak here in May is higher than this leg of the downtrend from back in October 2017. So this was one of the first things that made me get bold about saying, okay, we have a reversal in progress. I'm trying to get this. It says 563 is the peak here, and the peak here is, what's that? 376. Yeah. So we call that an outside move. Okay. So you just think of it this way: the sell pressure that brought the price down compared to the buying pressure that went up. The buying pressure sending the dollar higher was greater than the selling pressure that brought it down. That suggests a reversal. Now, confirmation is when we return and make a new high above this high right here.
Okay.
And so all of the computers just doing this automated trading that's creating all this volatility, those computer programs are going to become long dollar in their bias, and they're going to be programmed to get money out of gold and oil and stuff to get on the winning side, because, as we say, the trend is your friend. The dollar downtrend started back here in December of 2016. So once we take out this high, from what's this, October 2017. This is the next one that's under attack. That's not that far, so just to let you know, just to get everybody's focus on what's happening there. Okay, we talked about Bitcoin, Stanley, and this was when it fell. It went back, had a nice little run up, quickly came back down. So we're looking now next week to see if Bitcoin is going to. I'm trying to move this thing up. Can't move it. See if we're going to make a new low here and make a new low here, because we're really looking back to all the way here in February, and the low is, what's this, 58.73 on this chart. And that's what we're looking at. So we came as low as like 61. So if Bitcoin, I believe, for my bias, I say when Bitcoin breaks this low, that's going to set off alarms and change the bias for Bitcoin. So that's going to start a panic. So and the dollar is the catalyst for all of this. Let's see. Next we got oil. This is UK oil and United States oil. And you see this big nasty spike on the 15th. This was today. Okay, so really, when the interest rate decision came out, oil didn't really have a response until today. But when it dropped down today, it took us all the way back to, what does this say, the 5th of June 6th. So it essentially wiped out 1 week of gain today. One day wiped out, a week, a little more than a week. Pretty nasty. Don't take long. This is gold, XAU USD. I think you just showed that nasty spike, and that's today. Now, yesterday it seemed to be fine. So the interest rate decision didn't really affect gold immediately. It was a delayed reaction. But what a reaction. The euro. So we're looking at this bottom here from, let's see, what is this? My eyes are going bad. What's that, May? An end of May? And that would suggest a continuation of this downturn. And we are this low here from December, what is this, 2016? Yeah, December 2016 is under attack. Now this corresponds with that high in the dollar around the same point in time. So all eyes are on the euro to see if it makes a new low right here, because that would suggest a continuation. Doesn't mean it exactly, but I'm biased that way. But everyone is going to be watching to see what happens. And what you can do is you put a trusty, I don't have a trend line here, you can put a trusty trend line from here to here, and you have to play the euro as falling until that trend line is violated. All right, so that's what the concern is about the strong dollar. It can take away all of the euro's gain from 2019 back to December of 2016. And this peak we're looking at here is from year 2011. So if the euro goes down here and makes a new low, then everyone would have to say that the trend that started in 2011 is still in effect. See, once this rise started here, people that were bullish on the euro were thinking, okay, our troubles are over, the uptrend has resumed. But if we come down and make a new low, everyone has to say we're in the same hell that started in 2011. Nothing new, same song, different day. That's about it. That's all I got.
All right. You got any money goes?
Yeah, what do you think about since gambling is legal, what about any stocks related to gambling?
Uh, that is something worth looking at. I have not looked at any gambling stocks, and I'm going to do some research on it now that you bring it up. And by research, I mean not just looking at the chart. I'm also going to go back and look and see what happened with gambling stocks back in say 2008 in that decline to
Yeah.
see how those the big Vegas hotels and stuff it affected them. I mean, but generally speaking, you think about just intuitively, trying to think logically. If people are losing money in the stock market, are they going to really be in the mood to gamble?
Yeah.
If they're getting poorer,
they're gonna gamble. It's legal now. It's New Jersey. So
you have a symbol in mind that throw up a chart.
I got SWRM. I just bought that today.
Let's see. You gonna pull it up? Click screen share on the upper left and put it up.
Are you able to?
Oh, dang, I can't get back. There we go.
See, the majors haven't really rolling over yet, so it could be working right now. But I think it would help to go back and look and see in the past how did gambling stocks, those big Vegas hotel with Harrah's and Sands and all of those. That's where the big money is, right?
Yeah. I know they popped a little bit when they made it legal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I know, man, fantasy football. I think fantasy football gonna make money no matter what. That's what I want to see. A company, is there a pure play? Is there a fantasy football like DraftKings? Something like that. If one of them come out with an IPO or something, or if there's a way to invest in fantasy football and the pure play, meaning a company that doesn't do anything but fantasy sports, I would like to.
Yeah, they're
It's interesting that you bring up. Yeah, it's interesting that you bring up DraftKings because on their site, it looks like they're looking for a blockchain expert.
Oh wow!
Dude,
yeah, I'm a fantasy guy now. I'm in the fantasy football big time.
Them bastards are still private.
They still private?
I think so.
Wow! Somebody come out because the reason why I think that it could work even in a down environment. Let me define what I mean. It could work. Stock prices fall and rise. Really, it's like a popularity thing. You have good companies whose stock price rise even when the company's making money.
Yeah.
Okay, so fantasy football could be one of those things where the stock price could fall, but the company is making money.
Yeah.
Because football or sports is like an escape for us. In bad times, I mean, we turn on TV and we watch our sports, and that's like an escape for us from a lot of strife. And so I think people are going to still be on there making bets. They probably might not make as wager as large a dollar amount as they normally would,
But check this out. What if you could just do it on the TV? Like you can just set it up where you can put in the amount you want to gamble through. You know how you set up Netflix through Roku and all of that. What if you
Yeah.
could do that with gambling?
Wait a minute, they don't have an APK? I thought they did. DraftKings, at least.
I'm not sure. I was just having a random thought.
There
No,
are TVs you can talk to. They are coming out because I seen one advertised, but it costs about $3,000 right now.
Well, I'm gonna go to my little Google Play account right now, and I'm gonna tell you in a couple of seconds if they got an APK for DraftKings. Because I got my Android box.
What's an APK?
It's basically an app, basically. Let's see what we got here. Let's see if it came up in the list. Yep. They got an APK for the Android. So the answer is yes, you can do that.
Okay.
You gonna bring up a chart, Maddie?
I don't know how to do it on this phone. I got like an older phone.
Oh, you on the phone? Gotcha. Let me see if I can try it. Linnell, can you bring it up on your investing site?
Hold on a moment.
And what's the symbol for? Either your investing site, because you're there, either that or bar charts, one or the other, either one. Probably investing is good. So wait a minute, man. What's up, anti-gravity? We have you on, then we have Ulysses, and then you'll drop in the other. It's like, what y'all tag teaming, man?
It's the same person. Okay. What's the ticker symbol?
SWRM.
It's not on here.
Let me see. What's
try bar chart. Try barchart.com. I think it's there. Because I looked it up before you. The last was it Friday? You mentioned I looked it up. I think it is on bar chart.
SWRM.
Was it SWRM? You said?
Yeah, SWRM.
There you go.
Make it big for us. There you go.
Oh, yeah, full screen.
It ain't full. There you go. Can you select candlestick? Right there right up there to the left by the search box. Here you go. Open and close candlestick. Yeah, I don't know why they even make you pick that. They know this is what we want to see. All right.
The other one?
So when did you get into this?
I just bought it today. I just got a starter.
Yeah, it does look kind of round. That bottom does look kind of rounding.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might get a little pop going on with there. So how did you is this a bulletin board stock or?
It's a penny stock, but they supposedly have an app coming out for something dealing with casinos where you could do some gambling. So I just was gonna play it on the bounce.
Oh, so this is gonna be a mobile gambling mobile from your phone.
Yeah.
And it's connected to a major a hotel casino.
No, it's not. It's just a penny stock. I was just asking about the sector, but this is just one of the stocks that I just was looking at.
Wow. Okay. What
You know
time
what's going
frame
to
is
drive?
it?
Go ahead, Mike.
No, I was going to say, you know what's going to drive that sector is AI, where people don't have to actually, you know, use the human decision making. They'll just use artificial intelligence to drive their wages and their bets.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, I'm just trying to ride the wave. If I can get a little when the football starts, if it spikes, I just take some profit.
Let's see.
Because it's all math. It's all numbers.
Right. And now, can you give me like a monthly or something, and where you have it for 6 months? Click 20. I just like to open it all up to see. You know, I like to see a lot of data. There you go. All right. So it's just kind of been crawling in the dirt for a good while, which is actually a good thing, okay? Because that's a base. So that means, if they're doing anything to generate get some momentum of interest going, that could take the price movement from sideways to going north. You know, so Lynell, can you zoom in on with your scroll bar at the bottom to like where it says September 16? Yeah, just scroll so we can see a little bit more detail. No, I'm sorry, the other way. Move that all the way to the right, and then the slider from the left. There you go. Go ahead. To where it says October, whatever. Do it some more until those tiny candlesticks get bigger. There you go. Okay, that's all right. Cool. Man, this thing was. I mean, what's good about it? First of all, there's a low here in May, like June 2017. That's a nice run up, and it came down. And you see, now I'm looking over here to the right. Those candlesticks are getting narrow, so that range is getting narrow. And a lot of times before the price changes direction, you see the spread between the high and the low narrows, and that's reflected as a short, stubby candlestick. And so that's encouraging that you have a low in June 2017. Now we're 1 year later. We would be, if we get us a green candlestick in here, that would suggest that we have a higher low. And a higher low means an uptrend. So I don't know, again, if you're lucky or you're real good, but you got an interesting play right there. Just looking at it from the chart, that looks interesting. And look at that big green volume candlestick at the bottom for this month we're in. So you're on to something.
Yeah, I just need to hold up, get past the tariff crap.
Wow. So how did you find out about this? Someone was promoting it?
Yeah, I was just looking around and I saw something about them doing an app. It's called Mad Gambler, and it's a sports betting and community app. Will offer a platform for sports fans to interact and discuss upcoming games, like the base points and real-time discussions as games are in progress. So that's the app supposedly developed, and I don't know if it's true or not, but I just went ahead and went with it.
Man, you got another one? That's man, I like that. That chart looks good.
I got this one called Sing. They supposedly doing Bitcoin wallets, and Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank is backing them.
Whoa.
But I didn't buy it because it spiked and then it dropped down today.
You got a number? You got a symbol?
Yeah, SING Sing. Like Sing.
You got that line now?
What's the innovative aspect to your Sing?
They supposedly have a wallet, a Bitcoin wallet app that they're gonna be promoting, and Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank is supposed to help them promote it.
So what's unique about their wallet?
I don't know. I didn't really look at it too hard. I just looked at who was backing it, and I saw the price spike.
Good Lord, look at them spaces and gaps. And this, so this is the volume any good on this?
Let me look. I think so. Yeah, they had I think they had a couple of days with 20 million, 11 million in volume.
Okay. Wow. Zoom in some, Lionel.
Yeah, today they had 23 mil in volume.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm trying to get that big red candlestick off the screen. Yeah, well, like I said, it's been going sideways for a good while, and it's not a bad. It's not a bad speculative trade. I don't mess with the penny stocks, but I just. But hey, again, listen, that's what I love about trading. Again, when I say I'm not into something, that's not saying that it's bad. It's just saying that just ain't my thing. Because I've been at this a long time, and I've seen people make money in every kind of strategy. When you focus on one thing, you just develop an instinct about it. And Matty be picking winners with this. So he's been doing this penny stock thing long enough where you just got an instinct about it.
Yeah.
So you hang out in the like the forums to see the level of people that's talking about it, right?
Yeah.
And see, when you got a penny stock, it has so little volume that when you go see the number of people in the forum, that's enough to move it. If they all seem to be excited about it, you can get one of those vicious pops like that.
Yeah, because then you got people that don't know what's going on. They put like $5,000 in it, and I'm taking my money out while they putting it in.
Right.
I have to change the name from Matty Ghost to Penny Will.
Really? Yeah. A penny ghost or something. Cause yeah, he's robbing people, man. You got the newbies in there trying to get rich quick, and they getting poor quick.
Yeah, because they think they can hold it in there forever, and some of them you can't do that.
Right. But see, with something like this, with a guy like you talking about Kevin Leary from Shark Tank, I mean, this guy will polish a turd and sell it, man, flip that thing and sell it to another a big company, and somebody's gonna make a lot of money, just because he knows how to. He'll turn it over to a bigger fish in that market, and the folks will own something like that and probably end up making a big killing all in one day because the company got sold.
Yeah, either that or he just put his name to it, and they'll pay him a certain amount, and then he'll vanish, and then the price will tank.
Yeah, there's that. But see, yeah, I can't. That's why I you really into like the fundamentals at that point, and the marketing and the hype.
Yep.
When you trade things with a big a large market cap, you can't manipulate the price like that so easily with news.
Yeah, that's why I don't trade large caps, especially the way the market is. I'm scared to put money into a large cap right now.
See, yeah. So it just depends on what your style. For anybody listening, you have to pick a style, and you have to commit to it. And so the volatility of the penny stocks, Matty is used to it. Like what is the largest amount you've ever put in a penny stock?
I don't know, maybe 10 grand, 10 or 13 grand.
Okay. And what's the largest number of different penny stock companies you will be invested in at any one point?
I guess about 8 maybe.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
about 8 or 9. That'd be about it.
Wow. So somebody new, they don't really this you betting against Maddie. If you're a newbie coming out there in the penny stock world, you got like so Maddie would be like a whale in the penny stock world.
Nah, I'd be like a mini. I'd be a mini. I guess I'd be like a big catfish. I'm not. I'm not a whale.
Okay. I don't. So I mean, so you're saying to me that there are penny stock traders that have more money in these individual penny stocks than you?
Yeah, some of them put 20 in.
Because that's a pretty large position for So I mean, you are a large part of the daily volume of that stock.
Yeah, this depends on. I have to be for certain. Normally, I just put about two or 3 in.
Okay, so when you said that you had 10 in, so that's not all in one day. You kind of feed it a little bit over time.
Yeah, I can't. No, because you set off alarms if you put 10. You put 10 in one day.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
You gotta space. You can do it in one day, but you gotta space it out.
Right. See, that's why I like the large caps if I'm dealing with a large amount of money like that, because you can go into an Apple or some other, mid cap or large cap, and it won't even burp when you put $10,000, and that's nothing. But
if I did that, it would have to be like a biotech stock that I knew had some major developments, and I know I could get 100% in 6 months.
Okay.
Like this anti-opioid stock called this NKTR. I bought it at $28 and it went up to $90, but I sold it too freaking early. If I would have held it, I could have had like over maybe 200% because from 28 to 90.
Man, you got to get with some technical analysis, man.
But it dropped though because they had a bad result from one of their clinical trials. I don't know where the price is now, but the last time I checked, it was like $50-something.
Yeah, I usually avoid that sector too, just because of what you just said. Those clinical trials you talking about, it could go either way.
But it was a no-brainer because they were doing anti-opioids and they had $3 billion from Johnson & Johnson or somebody was helping them funding them so they could pass some clinical trials on the anti-opioids, and then they had some other drugs that they were pushing, going through clinical trials.
Yeah, I guess the bottom line is, I'm just lazy. I don't want to do all that research, man. All that reading in the forums. You got to get into what their product is, who their competition is, and when they're likely to have the next major advancement. That's too much work.
See, like a large cap, you can read up on it, but those penny ones you gotta read every day, see what's going on.
Yeah, see, I like to buy my preferred method is to buy ETFs, which represent a whole industry. So if I can buy an ETF that represents a whole industry like oil or gold or you name the industry, retail, that way I don't really have to do company research. I'm just looking to see if the macroeconomic environment favors that type of business.
Yeah. See, the reason I'm gambling so hard is because Trump is on a roll right now. As far as before he starts to F it up with these tariffs, so I'm just riding the wave for right now.
All right.
Because there's a nice window before we go into maybe a bear market.
So how long have you been trading?
Since 2010.
Okay. And for the bulk of that time, you've been a penny stock trader?
When I first started, I was buying large cap. stocks.
Okay.
And then I was like, oh no, I lost $20. I gotta sell. You know.
So
I
how
didn't know.
long have you been focusing on penny stocks?
Since 2013.
Oh man,
2000.
okay.
Because I made my first 100% on the oil stock in 2010. And I had a Chinese stock. I had called Kramer. And I got on his show one
Oh,
time.
cool.
And he was like, no, it's a Chinese stock, sell it. And I was like, I was talking to myself. I was like, you don't know what you're talking about. That thing had went down like 75%. I didn't know at the time that the Chinese, they cook their books all the time.
Yeah. So you've been in penny stocks for about 5 years. So see, yeah, somebody coming new to the game, and okay. You say you're a catfish. You've been circling, looking for prey. All that time. So some newbie gonna come in here trying to trade penny stocks, and you gonna get them.
I'm not gonna get. I'm just gonna be there just to take what I can get. But there's other guys that coming in. They hype it up and make it sound good. And
Yeah, but your money that you winning is coming from those newbies.
yeah, you gotta take your profit. The CEOs are bastards. They don't care. So why should I care?
Hey guys, I had put hold on one second. I put a link in the group chat. At least for the last piece of the night. It's a piece on Etsy being 200% up on the market.
Oh, the Epson pen?
Etsy, ETSY.
Yeah, do you mean the CNBC thing?
I don't see
Yeah.
it. Put it in the group chat. Yeah, it's not showing up on mine.
Yeah, mine is talking about. I clicked this. Got some ad blocker stuff.
I just put it in again.
Got it. All right.
Oh, okay.
The
Yeah, I
online
see it.
retailer has surged over 200% in 1 year.
Oh yeah, I saw that article. I
Not
just didn't.
Amazon. Okay.
Yeah, I like Trader Nation videos.
Etsy is on fire. Shares of the online marketplace soared as much as 35% to an all-time high on Thursday after the company raised its transaction fee on its sellers' sales and boosted its full-year outlook on revenue growth. Some strategists and technical analysis say that despite the recent gain, the stock appeared poised to keep running. I think it's a great example of the market rewarding growth, said Stacy Gilbert, head of derivatives strategy at Saskatchewan. Here's a situation where a company is investing back into itself. It's growing, and the market is saying, yes, we're going to reward you for that, she said Thursday on CNBC's Trading Nation. Gilbert noted that options activity on Thursday amid the massive upside was varied. Traders were buying puts, which would allow the buyers to sell Etsy at a specified price before a certain date. This would theoretically protect a trader's investment, giving the stock's huge return. Call buying was also evident in the market. Overall, the market was suggesting there's less than
Oh,
3%
phone
probability
died.
Overall, the market was suggesting there's less than a 10% probability stock ends negative by year end. Even with the hey, I'm gonna mute you when you just mute you when you come back in. All right. Even with the meteoric rise, some see potential in the charts. I would not consider today as a tactical entry point for the stock, but one of the most important investment rules out there is to let your winners run. So if you're in the stock, I think you can stick with it. Oppenheimer, head of technical analysis, Ari Wall said Thursday on Trading Nation, it has positive momentum. SE stock is up 206% in the last year, compared with some marketplace behemoth Amazon's 76% gain. Examining a chart on Etsy, Wall pointed out its breakout ramp up late last year when it broke above $16 per share. Now that Etsy has soared 107% in the last 6 months alone, Wall said the level to keep an eye on is $36 per share. Its post-IPO peak in 2015. Prior resistance levels become support. So our view is buy some more on pullbacks, he said. SE shares soared 26% higher on Thursday, slightly off sessions highs at $41.65 per share. Now I remember you saying dollar bill, support, resistance becomes support.
Right. Yep. And I guess all I gotta say about this is, let Amazon be your guide. It's gonna as long as Amazon is moving higher, they can stay in the backdraft, maybe catch a trend, blaze a trail behind Amazon.
Any thoughts on the mic?
But the market's just gonna roll over. So it's like and you see anything funny with Amazon, I would get out of it. I would not wait to leave this thing.
Anybody got any thoughts on it?
No, I'm just surprised to see such a niche factor, I guess, technical product like this have such high, kind of a moonshot of a
that's like a crypto
of a maneuver. Excuse me.
I said that's like a crypto game.
Yeah, and I don't see anything really fantastic about them at all. It's not.
That's why I always say, that stock price is. That's why I reduce it down to popularity, because this is a good example. You can't always justify why a price moves with fundamentals, because sometimes it's good marketing, or the market just a buzz surrounds a particular company, and people latch on to it, and you scratching your head. You're like, why this? I mean, why would you buy this and not Amazon?
That's a good question. People probably ride a train,
But hey, when it was sitting there at what was the low? The low was probably under $5. I'm just looking to the left side of that chart you got right there.
Okay, yeah.
As low as that is, and you looking backwards to the left, and you go, okay, it was at $40, and you doing the percentage gain in your mind. Let's say it was $5, and let's say that top was 40, and so you going, okay, what's that 800% to get back to 40 if it's 5? So you're like, okay, yeah, I'll take that. Give me some of that. Now, if you're a pure technical trader, like I am, you'll go, okay, well, somebody at some point thought the daggone thing was worth $40. We down here at the bottom, looks like we're going higher. And if in the bigger long range picture, I think that this is a trend continuation and the $40 price is not the end of the trend, but somewhere in the middle, then so your mind would be thinking that we're going north of 40. And if you can come back in at $5 or less, you're like, well, why not take the 800% plus gain? Now, that's a purely technical way of looking at it. And a lot of people trade that way. They don't care about management, none of the fundamental stuff. Yeah.
Anyone else? No, going once, going twice. Well, hey, it's been another great show, in my opinion. Uh, any last points?
Keep your eye on the dollar for between now and Thanksgiving. I think you're going to see some aggressive moves. I think, and if not next Friday or soon, we're going to be talking about a breakout of out of a channel that's been running for over 2 years for gold. I'm talking about gold going south. I'm talking more of those spikes down that we talked about earlier, and things like the euro and oil and gold and Bitcoin. I believe it's only going to get worse. In the right, starting now, looking forward, like the next month, I think it's going to be ugly because we're also at the summer break where a lot of traders go on summer vacation, and the stock market usually sees a decline in trading volume right around this time. So we have a lot of things that are overbought, that meaning that they're due for a pullback, and we're right into the seasonal part of the year where trading volume declines. So stay tuned.
How about you, Mike? Any last thoughts?
No, I don't have anything.
All right. Well, thank you all for tuning in to Money Making Friday. Once again, don't forget to come Monday, Automation Monday. And with that said, y'all have a good evening.
Peace.
Peace.